Right, okay then folks. So welcome to Health and Social Care, and thank you very much for joining our little taster course so that you've got a little bit more of an idea about what the course is about. My name's Veronica Ty, and I'm one of the teachers on Health and Social Care, and my colleague joining us as well, Shahida Shirang, she's also another teacher on Health and Social Care, so you'll get to speak to both of us during the presentation. Okay, so what I'm going to do first of all is just go through a little bit about the course and what to expect, and then we're going to be doing a little quiz. So you'll need to make sure that you've got a piece of paper and a pen. So as I'm just going through what the course is about, just make sure you've got yourself a bit of paper and a pen because we're going to be showing you some pictures and you need to write down what you think that picture is showing, and then there's a true false round. So again, you'll need to put whether you think something is true or false, and then you'll just add your scores up at the end. Okay, if you do have any more general questions about the course and the college, then please feel free to inquire at wqe.ac.uk and also admissions@wqe.ac.uk. Again, that will give you a little bit more information about the course as well. Okay, so health and social care then. A lot of people want to work in health and social care, but you do need to make sure that you have a bit of an understanding about what it's like to work in care. So some of you may have done some work experience, but make sure that you are somebody who does like other people, that you're caring, that you can respect other people's differences because you'll be working with people that are very different to you, that you want to develop your communication skills, that you can work very well individually, but also as part of a team, that you can manage your time. And specifically for this course, obviously there is quite a lot of coursework, so make sure that you can get that done when it's required. And also don't be afraid of asking for help, because that's one of the key things that will help you succeed if you're able to ask for help. Okay, so some of the units then that you'll be studying. Unit 1 is about building positive relationships, and that's the coursework unit. And that one's about the importance of family, helping people if they're ill or they have any issues, the role of a senior manager, what practitioner roles are and the relationship between them and service users. So the people that you are with when you're being cared for are obviously very important. But also we look at some of the factors that might influence those relationships. How do we make it a positive relationship and not a negative one? What's the role of person-centered care? Because that's a key aspect of health and social care as well, putting the person first, making sure that their needs and preferences are met. And then you'll be able to demonstrate some of your own communication skills in that unit as well. Unit 2 is about equality, diversity and rights. So you'll look at what those words mean, how discrimination can impact service users, and also how legislation is used to reduce discrimination. And then Unit 3, health, safety and security, that's about hazards and risks. Again, how legislation protects people, and also what people's responsibilities are in terms of health and safety, and how we respond to emergencies. So we'll look at first aid and things like that. So those are the main units that you do in year 1. In year 2, we do a bit more of a biology unit. We look at nutrition, because obviously that's quite important, because any care setting will be offering food to people, so you've got to make sure it's healthy. And also we look at an extension of that unit, the impact of long-term physiological conditions. So we look at services that support people, and we look at a range of different conditions that relates to. So in terms of the exams, they will both be in January. So Unit 2 and Unit 3 are both examined units. You'll do them in January so that you've got a chance to do them then, and then you can resit them in June if necessary. And then the coursework unit is after Christmas. So we give ourselves plenty of time to do that one. Just make sure though that you are aware that you do have to pass every unit in health and social care. So you can't get good marks in some units and then fail another. That isn't enough to make up you passing the qualification. You've got to pass all of the units. Okay, so that's just a little introduction to the course. Again, people might want to ask some questions at the end. So what we're going to do then now is start the quiz. Okay, so round one is the picture round. So again, make sure you've got a piece of paper, and what you're going to be doing is naming famous people or other images that you see on your screen. Okay, so just write it down on your piece of paper, and then what we'll do is we'll go through the answers, and then you'll be able to mark yourself. And this round will be out of just 5, because there's 5 images that you're going to see. Okay. So picture 1. This is a famous nurse. So I want you to write down who you think that picture is. So obviously we've tried to link questions and images and our true false round obviously to health and social care. Okay, so who is that famous nurse? Picture 2, so this is a building in Leicester. So it's kind of the side view of this building. So again, think about health and social care. So it's not actually that far from the college, this particular building. So what building do you think that is? What's the name of that building? Okay, picture 3. So again, somebody quite famous. And obviously we've got a woman here as well. Okay, so again, you'll perhaps know this from school. Picture 4. So this person's been in the news quite a lot, doing briefings and things like that about COVID. So it's what that person's name is. And picture 5, what are you looking at there? Okay, so what do you think that refers to? So again, this might be something that we look at in Unit 1, the communication unit. Okay, so you just need to write down what that is. Okay, so each of the answers have got 1 mark. So this round will be out of 5. So what I'm going to do then now is go over the answers so that you can see whether you've got those things right. I'm just going to stop sharing this PowerPoint and share my next one. Okay. So picture number 1 was Florence Nightingale. Okay, so very famous nurse. Picture 2 was Leicester Royal Infirmary. A lot of people don't get that one. We've done this quiz quite a few times. A lot of people don't realise that that's the Royal Infirmary, but it is. So obviously that's down the road from the college. Marie Curie, she was the next picture. So she's a famous physicist and was involved in development of radioactivity. Matt Hancock, Secretary of State for Health. So there's a bit of a clue there with the NHS bit in the background, but you will have seen him quite a lot on sort of the COVID updates. And then the last picture was the Braille alphabet. So again, this is just a pictorial version of an alphabet that you would learn if you were visually impaired. And obviously when it's in books and things like that, it's raised little dots that you can feel and people learn what those dots represent. Okay, so that's round 1. So you just need to add up your score out of 5. Okay, then my colleague Shahida, she's going to take over and do round 2 of the quiz.
Okay, morning everybody. My name is Mrs. Sarang and I'm going to be doing round 2 with you of the quiz. Now what you all need to do on your piece of paper, I want you to write down numbers 1 to 10 on your piece of paper. And then I'm going through the questions with you and then the answers like Miss Ty did. So what I want you to do, look at the first question. And all you've got to do with this is you could just write T or F, and then we'll check your answers at the end. Okay, so question number 1, there are fewer elderly people in Leicester compared to England as a whole. Is this true or is it false? So just put T or F next to number 1. Okay, moving on. Next question. 29% of all accidents in the workplace are caused by slip, trip, and falls on the same level. Now, again, is this true or false? So note it down on your piece of paper. Okay, moving on. Number 3, dementia and Alzheimer's are the same. Is this true or false? Okay, I'm going to move on to the next slide. And question 4, domiciliary care workers are employed to help people with personal and domestic tasks in their own home. Is this true or false? So jot down your answer. Okay, now moving on. Question 5, Leicester is ranked one of the poorest cities in the UK. Is this true or false? So jot down which one you think it is. Okay, moving on. Question 6. It is not illegal for a 5 to 16-year-old to drink alcohol at home. What do you think? Is this true or is it false? Okay, I'm going to move to the next set of questions, the final 4 questions. Okay, now question 7 is, if I ate at McDonald's a chicken legend with mayo, a portion of fries, and a vanilla milkshake, I would be eating 1,232 calories. Is that true or false? Now, some of these questions relate to different units that we teach on health and social care. So, for example, question 7 links to a nutrition unit that we teach as part of the course. So you will notice there'll be a connection with the questions that we're asking in the true and false round and with particular units that we teach on the course. Okay, moving on. Question 8, COPD stands for chronic ocular pain disorder. Is that true or false? Okay, and I'm going to move on now. Question 9, the UN has urged people to eat insects to fight world hunger. Is that true or false? What do you think? And then question 10, the highest number of babies born to one woman is 69. What do you think? Is that true or false? So jot down your answers for that final question. And then I'm going to just share a different screen. Bear with me. I'm going to stop sharing to the 10 questions in the true and false round. Okay, so question 1, fewer elderly people in Leicester compared to England as a whole. That was actually true. Leicester has a higher proportion of younger people in Leicester. I guess that's in line with having 2 universities in Leicester, that there are more younger people that reside in Leicester compared to elderly people. Maybe one of the reasons could be that elderly people tend to migrate to other countries. We have a high Asian population in Leicester, and one of the reasons could be that they want to migrate to a warmer climate. And therefore, that could be one of the reasons why we have fewer elderly people in Leicester. So that question 1 was true. So tick it if you did jot down true as your answer for question 1. Okay, moving on the next question. This is actually true. 20% in terms of accidents in the workplace are caused by lifting. It could be that individuals might get hit by a moving object. It could be to do with violence, falls from height. So in terms of workplace accidents, this is actually true, that it is caused by slip, trips, and falls on the same level. So number 2 was true. Number 1 was true. Number 3 was actually false. Dementia and Alzheimer's are not the same. Dementia is not a specific disease, and Alzheimer's is a common cause of dementia. They're 2 different things. Okay, so that's 3 questions done. We're going to move on to the next set of questions and check your answers on question 4, 5, and 6. So look, domiciliary care workers, they do help individuals with personal and domestic tasks. So they help individuals with hygiene tasks, day-to-day tasks. They might help with washing, bathing. They might help them to get dressed. They might help an individual with feeding. So they help them with day-to-day tasks. So that one was actually true. Number 5 is actually true as well. So when you look at the statistics, Leicester is one of the areas that has a high level of deprivation and poverty. So question 5 was true. And then moving on, question 6, this is actually true that it's not illegal, but obviously we wouldn't promote drinking alcohol at home for a 5 to 16-year-old. But this one was actually true, but obviously recommended that they don't actually do this. So that's 6 questions done. We've got 4 to go. So question number 7, this was actually true as well, that a chicken legend has 529 calories, fries have 337, and a milkshake has 366 calories. So in terms of the recommended daily amounts, this would be a high proportion of calories that are consumed if an individual had these food items at McDonald's. Okay, the next question, 8, was actually false. This actually stands for chronic obstructive pulmonary disorder, and it's related to smoking, that smoking can be one of the causes of this condition. Okay, moving on, number 9. This was true, and and it's shocking actually that the UN urged individuals to eat insects, but it's actually true because insects have a high protein, fat, and mineral content, and it's better for the environment as they produce fewer harmful greenhouse gases compared to cattle. So at the moment, there's a lot of shows, even on Netflix. I've seen a documentary being promoted, and it's about people turning vegan, that it's better for the environment, that if you consume less animals, it can actually be beneficial. So again, in health and social care, it's really important to keep up to date with current aspects that are happening in the world. If you catch any documentaries, again, you can always share them with the teachers that you've seen something and it might relate to aspects that you're learning about. Okay, and moving on, last question. You know, as shocking as this is, it's actually true that the highest number of babies born to one woman is 69. Imagine that. And this is true. It was a woman in Russia. It was a Russian woman in 1725 to 1765. So look at this. She had 16 pairs of twins, and then 7 sets of triplets and 4 sets of quadruplets. And that actually means that she had 69 babies born to one woman. That's just mind-blowing, but it's actually true. So what I want you to do now, add up your score for round 2. What did you get out of 10? Okay, so I'll give you a couple of seconds to tot up your score. And then what I want you to do now is also add up your score for round 1. So how many have you now got out of 15? Okay, so I'm going to show you the next screen in terms of your results. So let's see where you're at. Are you between 12 and 15? That would award you like a gold trophy. And if you scored between 8 and 11, you'd earn silver. And then 5 to 7 would be bronze. And then under 5, good effort, better luck next time. Get prepared, get knowledgeable about things that are happening in the world, general knowledge. So have a look at your scores. And what I wanted to also remind you is that if you have any questions, get in touch with our admissions team. And a reminder that their email address is admissions@wqe.ac.uk. And if you have any questions, you can drop your questions into our Q&A box. So what we're going to do, we're going to leave the session open for the next 5 minutes. And if you want to drop any questions into our Q&A box, we can answer any queries that you have. Okay, if you don't have any questions, what I want you to do in the Q&A box, I want you to drop something that you learned in this session that you didn't know before. So I want you to type in the Q&A box something new that you learned in the session, something that you didn't come across before, that's given you some insight from doing this taster with us this morning on health and social care. Okay, so get typing, share with us something that you've learned, or if you have a query, drop it in the Q&A box, and we're going to have a look at what you guys are writing. Okay, I'm going to answer this one live in terms of Sam Preet's question. What's the difference between the 3 different health and social care courses? What that means is that the different types of courses have a different number of units that are undertaken by students. So for example, if a student does an extended cert or a certificate in health and social care, they would only do 6 units in terms of the course. So in our initial slide that we showed you, I'll just go back to the slide. Hold on, I'm going to go back to the slide. So for example, if you're doing the certificate course or the extended cert, then these are the units that you would do in terms of year 1 and year 2. So you do 6 units in total in year 1 and year 2. But if you did, like, for example, a diploma or an extended diploma, it would mean that you would do more units as part of health and social care. So for example, students doing an extended diploma, their whole timetable would entail just health and social care. So they wouldn't do any other courses alongside health. They would do just pure health units, and that would constitute their whole timetable. So it's either like you do a single award, a double award, or you're doing like a triple. So I hope that answers your question, Sampri, in terms of what's the difference between the different types of courses. Like, for example, if you do a certificate in health and social care, you can still choose other A-level courses alongside health and social care. So that's one of the different, that's how the courses differ. So it's either it makes up the majority of your course and your timetable. Okay, Veronica, do you want to take over the next question?
Yeah, so I've just typed an answer.
Oh, you typed an answer.
To
Okay.
somebody else that asked the question while you were talking, Shahida.
Oh, okay.
So
Thank
that
you.
question was about how long we give you to do coursework.
Oh, okay.
Usually we start doing coursework in class. The work that we do is to help you to complete that piece of coursework, and we do give you some class time to do it. But in terms of your own time, it's normally 2 weeks that you get to complete a particular task that we've set you, and you'll get a deadline when you have to complete it by. So, you know, you are given plenty of time to do that. Okay, I've just noticed that a few people have started to type in what they learnt from the quiz. So we've got about Leicester being one of the poorest cities. I think that sometimes people are quite surprised about that one, but we're often in the top 5 of cities that are the poorest ones. Some of those are in the north, but there are quite a few Midlands cities, including Leicester. Nottingham is often one that's in the poorest section as well. But again, it's because we've got high ethnic minority groups, and you know, we're not particularly a rich city either. Okay. So I think
Any more questions?
there.
Come on, keep them rolling in. Like, what else have you taken on board? What else? Has anyone been shocked by anything this morning in terms of our 2 rounds that we did on the quiz? We've got a few minutes left. I know, I knew this was coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, can you imagine giving birth to 69 babies?
Yeah. And it was with just the one woman and with the same husband as well. Okay, any more questions just in the last minute? Any more questions or anything else that people have learned that they didn't know? No? Okay. Well, thank you very much for joining us. And I hope you've learned a little bit more about health and social care. Obviously, do look at the course outline information that's on the website. Make sure that you have a look on the college website as well, because you'll find lots of information about what goes on at the college and what to expect when you get here. So best of luck with your results, and we shall see you all in September.
Okay, everybody, thank you for attending the session today. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.